Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of our Ignite Men's Battle Cry podcast. You know, our heart here is where we seek to discover our warrior within, helping us to overcome obstacles and adversities and springing us forward into new opportunities. You know, Billy Graham once said this, a coach will impact more young people in a year than the average person does in a lifetime. This week's podcast is all about the power of influence through coaching. Today, we actually get to spend some time with my former head baseball coach, Scott Jackson. Coach Jackson is a head coach at Liberty University. He has a very decorated coaching career, having served as the pitching coach at UNC Wilmington, the assistant coach at UNC Chapel Hill, and now, like I said, the active head baseball coach at Liberty University since 2016. Coach Jackson also played college baseball himself at Campbell University. You know, I was fortunate enough to have played for him for 2 years, in 2016 and 2017. I can't thank him enough for the impact he has made on my life personally. So without further ado, Coach, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, this is pretty cool, man, to just be able to circle back with you like this and
Absolutely.
Talk about life and catch up. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Coach, we're missing sports. You know, for me and you, that sport is baseball. I just wanted to know, how are you doing during this time, you know, not being on the field with the guys, and how's the camaraderie of the team?
Yeah, you know, it's I've kind of had some swing of emotion, I think. First of all, with the frustration and just standing there kind of almost bewildered, like, is this, you know, really the situation that we're in? And then, you know, stepping back and saying, okay, how can I serve the players? How do they need me here? What can I do to make sure everybody, you know, kind of has what they need as we get started in this, not knowing what, you know, was ahead. But the silver lining's been, you know, I've never had spring and this much time with my family. And so
That's right.
It's been wonderful to be with my wife and my kids and, you know, kind of a new routine that is very different but good for us.
Absolutely. It's obviously a great time to be able to spend a lot of family time together. Another thing, you know, Coach, you always, when you first came in, you brought this sense of discipline, and you brought this sense of you demanded perfection out of your players. And because of that, I think you earned and you gained a ton of respect from us as players. You know, I was talking to my dad recently and just telling him, you know, Coach Jackson was the guy that at first up front we were a little nervous to talk to because, you know, you were so demanding of perfection. I remember a specific story. I know you remember it, but I was hitting, with your fungo, your prized possession, I was hitting ground balls to the pitching staff before pregame batting practice. You know, that's where all the pitchers want to show off and show the position players that were athletes. And I'll never forget, I made contact with the ball and your bat snapped. And I was thinking to myself, I am dead. Like, I'm goner. But I remember coming to your office specifically and telling you what happened. Hey, Coach, I broke your bat. I'll never forget your reaction, though. You know, you were so gracious and you were loving in the sense of you said, hey, Z, you know, it's no problem. I actually have another bat that I've been working on. I've been meaning to get that one out of the way. And you made me feel almost the sense of security or safety. You know, so obviously I know your heart for your players. One of my favorite quotes that you once shared with us, you know, you'd share quotes before every practice. The quote that you said, though, was this: I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Coach, help us understand the power of that coach-player relationship.
Yeah, that is and always will be, you know, it's an old Maya Angelou quote, and, you know, it's one that has always stuck with me. And I think, and I know we talked about this a lot when you were in the program, and we still do to this day, but that feeling that you get when you're coming down to the field every day, that's what I'm after as a coach. Like, how can we have this environment for you where you're so excited to get down there, not just because it's baseball,
right,
but hey, I get to be around people that I know trust me and I know care about me. So that's hard at first. Sometimes that takes a little bit of work between a coach and a player.
Yeah.
That's the most valuable thing we can have, is that trust. You trust me, I trust you, and moving forward, we all know that everything that's said and done, that it always has your best interest at heart, even coming from the player to the coach. You want to open that line of communication. I think that's the hardest part, But once that gets opened and we know that anything that's said, no matter how difficult some of those conversations may be, no matter what's said, it's all for pursuing the right things in your life. And you coach is for those awesome relationships.
Coach, I love what you just said, the word trust. You know, you definitely had trust with us as players in those relationships, and that's so important. You know, Coach, people do anything to get an edge, you know? They'll do anything to make it to the next level. What is something that you would tell, you know, a dad trying to get his kid there to the next level in sports, or a kid or a young athlete that's trying to get there? What is it that they need to be focusing on?
Well, I think there's three things for me that you have to have. If you want to get to the next level, whether that be college, whether that be high school, whether that be pro ball, whether that be the big leagues, competitiveness. Certainly, you got to want to compete. You got to embrace competing.
That's right.
And then, you know, with that comes, you know, the willingness to do it with character.
Yeah.
And to say, you know what, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to stay above board. You know, everything that we've seen, unfortunately, with the Astros, I think kind of maybe puts that in the spotlight right now.
Right.
And gives you a chance to say, hey, you know what, you know, I think I'm going to be better than that. I'm going to do things at a higher level in a way that reflects my faith and the values that I have in my life. Yeah. And then confidence, man. I mean, character, competitiveness, confidence. If you can have those three things and do it with those three things in mind and let those be, so to speak, pillars of who you are as a person and as an athlete, and then keep your head down and work. You know, nobody's going to give you a handout. Nobody's going to do something. You know, there's some things that'll come your way. Some you might have a little bit of luck. I really believe you create your own luck, but keep your head down and use those pillars in your life and the way you go about your business, and give yourself a chance to do it the right way and honor and glorify the Lord with what you do, and good things are going to happen.
Amen to that. Character, competitiveness, and
confidence.
Love it. Coach, how'd you get started in your coaching career?
Well, I wasn't a very good player. My career was over with. I didn't really know much different than a baseball field, whether it was playing on it or mowing the grass and taking care of the field. Those were two things I was passionate about. And, you know, the saying, if you do something you're passionate about and you keep that passion, you'll feel like you've never worked a day in your life. And I'm a testament to that, and something that I'm just so thankful for.
I love that. You know, obviously now you're a seasoned vet as a coach. You're recognized as one of the top assistant coaches in the country by Baseball America during your tenure at UNC Chapel Hill in 2013. And then you were recognized as a Virginia Coach of the Year by the Virginia Sports Information Directors while you were at Liberty University in 2019. What's the journey been like to get where you're at today?
Yeah, it's been so rewarding. You know, there's been some people, most importantly, people and things that I've experienced and been able to just have a part of my life at every stop in my coaching career. And, you know, if you're willing, you let some of those people help shape you, not just as a coach, but as a husband and as a father. And, you know, you let them model, hey, this is what it's like to be able to coach at a high level, do it the right way, but also make sure you have some balance and some priority in your life. And, you know, Mark Scaff, Mike Fox, I mean, some of those guys just have been just incredibly instrumental for me. And I look back on it and just say, you know, wow, this is something I'm certainly not deserving of. And, you know, there's some people that have been put in my life that I see, maybe not at the time, but I see now that have had a huge impact on me. And it's been a wonderful journey.
I'm so thankful that you mentioned that, because, you know, even you as a coach, you being an influencer, you have to share about, you know, how you've been influenced and coached. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody has a coach. You know, one more thing that I've seen in our time together, having played for you, was your love and appreciation for your family. You know, Tyler and Ryan, your two boys, you know, they're around the field all the time, whether they're at practice, in the dugouts, on road trips. You know, it's a blast spending time with them. But I know that being, especially a college Division I baseball coach, there's a lot on your plate. You know, you got a lot of long nights, a lot of road trips, practice plans. You have a lot of 28-man roster relationships that you got to keep intact. What is it like just to be able to balance all of that and to remain, the consistent husband and dad that you are? How are you getting the job done at home?
Well, great question, and something that was a big challenge for me when I first started coaching, especially, it was just my wife and I was chasing, the next, step in my career. I was chasing success, and with that comes just a lot of time. As you know, I mean, I love my job.
Yeah,
I absolutely love my job, and it really had me early on in our marriage, I think, to the point where I was sacrificing time at home, and actually being present at home. I think that's the biggest challenge, is to be present when you're there. It was really hard when I got to North Carolina, and the recruiting and the phone calls and the way the NCAA rules are set up to where the kids can call you, but you can't call them back until they get to be a certain age. So when that phone starts ringing and I'm in the middle of a bite of dinner and I've got both my kids and my wife there, just saying, you know what, I'm gonna set that down. I'm gonna be here. There's no recruit that is worth that time that I'll never get back again with my family. And so that is a great question. Anybody in Division I college coaching has grappled with that. But when you strike the right balance and you give yourself a chance to prioritize what you really, really want in your life. And that's the one thing that I've learned, that time is so valuable. You're never going to get it back.
That's right.
And to be able to just really be there and be present with your families is what matters most.
Prioritizing being present. Coach, we all love to win. I know you hate losing. I hate losing. But at the end of the day, what's the bigger picture here? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you coaching?
I mean, yeah, and that's, if you're not coaching for the relationships and you're not coaching and pursuing the things that matter. So when you come to Liberty, we want you to grow in 5 areas. We want you to grow spiritually. We want you to grow socially, certainly academically, strength, your body to change so that you can be the athlete that you want to be, and then baseball, and let baseball be last. And so if you look at it through that lens, and it's not perfect, not everybody that comes into our program, is going to experience that immediate growth in those areas. But if we prioritize it and we talk about it and we say, okay, we are who we are, how can we be who God created us to be on this campus, in this program, in our lives, and to start to circle those things and talk about them. I mean, you remember those times in practice where, it's probably my favorite part of the day when we talk to you guys about leaving your cell phones in the parking lot, leaving the baggage, whether it be girlfriend, mom and dad, grades. You can't do anything about that for those 3 hours that we're on the field together. And for all of us, including me, to leave the cell phone in the locker, shut the computer off, go down to the field and be together with you guys and say, hey, let's talk about something that's completely has nothing to do with baseball, but it has more to do with us as men and who we want you to be and who God created you to be now and who we want you to be when you leave here. And that's the biggest reward of coaching. If it's going to be about the wins and the losses, you're going to have this emotional roller coaster experience, because the game's going to disappoint you. And Christ and your relationships, they're never going to disappoint you. And that's the thing that you've got to cling to, I think, if you do what we do in that arena.
We always have that to hold on to. It's almost, I remember coming down to the field, and it was just that sense of being together. That felt great. Yeah, it wasn't about the winning in those moments. It was about just being present, like you said. Coach, kind of closing up, what's a memory on the field that you personally will always hold on to?
Yeah, that's man, it's really hard to single that out.
Yeah.
But last year's, just to be able to celebrate with my kids in the dugout, my mom and my wife, to be able to celebrate a conference championship with that group of guys that I thought they were close. And then once the season ends, you look back and you say, I had no idea the culture of our team and how good the locker room was. And for those guys to be rewarded for all of that, and for me to just be able, as a coach, to just sit back, watch them dogpile and say, hey, come on, we get to go to the NCAA tournament, and none of them had been before. Just an incredible moment for me, and something that I will cling to the rest of my coaching career.
That's awesome, Coach. I can see you right now just soaking it all in. That's great.
Yeah.
Coach, to close us out, this is a question I want to ask everybody that we interview here. We're all about empowering our inner warrior as men. So as you go, could you just give us just a motivating word as we move forward trying to face our everyday battles?
Absolutely. Equip yourself. Equip yourself with a chance to reflect every day. Equip yourself with God's word. Equip yourself with priorities, and have discipline as you go through your days and you go through your weeks and you go through your months. That's something that we touched on, and that I feel like my responsibility as a coach with kids that are 18 to 22 years old is to equip them with the discipline and the routine that they're going to need as they go through their lives. And with that discipline and that routine comes priorities, and just a challenge to say, hey, where are your priorities? What's important to you? Do your actions and your words show and reflect those priorities in your life? And can we see that in the fruit from you as you go about your daily routine?
Equipping yourself. Coach, I can't thank you enough. Seriously, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here.
I love you too. I'm thankful for our relationship, and tell your family, hey, man.
Will do, Coach. Thanks.
All right, buddy. See you.
Hey, everybody. Remember this. Somebody is always watching you. You cannot not have influence. You influence someone every day, whether that be for good or for bad. I don't know where you're at or what you're going through, but I do know this. God has a dream specifically with your name on it. So let's go get it done. Thanks for watching.